Hello everyone. A lot of people keep asking the same question. Where is the expression box? After digging into it, testing versions, and comparing workflow, here is the truth. Instead of fighting the UI, user's interface, there are better, cleaner ways to link and control values in Resolve today. So in this video, I will show you how to build smart, flexible controls without using expressions at all. And yes, this works right now. Resolve is incredibly powerful, but not every feature is exposed the same way across the main page and Fusion. Rather than forcing a workflow that is inconsistent, we are going to use tools that are stable, visual, and designed for Resolve current UI. Let's start with the most reliable one. Modifiers are the most underrated tools in Resolve. They let you drive one parameter using another without typing a line of a single code. So here's how it works. We are going to head to the computer now and we are going to select a node. Let's say the rectangular node. Okay, so we are going to get a background, obviously, and we're going to connect the mask to the background. So let's put this to the viewer. I have a single viewer here. So I'm heading to the center and I'm going to right click the center and I'm going to head to modify width. So over here, as you can see, we do have a lot of options. You can modify with expressions, but we are not trying to use expressions here. We could modify with offset positions, key stretcher, perturb, shake, switch, so forth and so on. All right, so I'm just going to go with the easiest one, either shake or perturb. So I'm going to use perturb and I'm simply going to click perturb. So now we achieve similar motions that we did with expressions without using any code. All right, and we could go to the inspector right next to tools, head to the modifier section, and now we could control the S scale, the Y scale, the wobble, the speed. Depending on what you want, you could reduce the scale, the S scale, you could reduce that. Obviously, the Y scale is too big compared to the S scale, so you could also reduce the Y scale. You get a motion like this. This is a kind of motion that you can achieve also with expressions. But without using expressions, I also managed to achieve the same thing, just using modifiers. This replaces what a lot of people try to do with expressions. The second one is the follower. Now, this is sort of like the modifiers as well. However, this is specifically with the test node. So if you're working with a test node, the follower is your best friend. Instead of linking values manually, one control drive multiple characters. Timing, scale, rotation, and opacity stay consistent. Everything stays editable and visual. This is perfect for motion graphics, titles, and animated text. And again, no expressions required. So we are going to look at a few examples. So we are going to bring down a test node over here and let's type in follower. So you could head over here at the text pad where you could type in anything and right click and hit follower. Now when you do hit follower, again, right next to tools, you could see the modifiers. Okay, so we could go to the modifiers and we could start animating. We already know how to animate, but over here is slightly different. Well, the animation is the same, but over here is not as intuitive as our regular animations. Oh, let's put this to the viewer. Now we are at the modifiers. If I increase anything here or change anything here, nothing works, nothing changes. However, it's not broken. It's just that the modifiers here works in a specific way. But since I know I'm going to do an animation, I'm going to take the playhead here and I'm going to put it somewhere at 20 because that's where I want my animation to end. So again, you could always start from where you want to end or start from where you want to begin. depending on what you want to animate. Okay, I'm only choosing the size for example. You could always head to transform and you could choose the rotations, or you could choose the offset, pivots. I don't know if you want to do that. Or you could go to shading, and you also have options, opacities, thickness, and all of these options you have right here. Okay, so these are the options that you could use with the follower. So I'm just going to use the size as an example. So I'm going to head to where I want to end my animation, which is frame 20. And I'm going to first hit the animation button, which is this diamond here. Now, if I change anything, now it works. So let's say I wanted my animation to end somewhere around here. And I would take my playhead to the beginning of frame 0. And I'm going to put the size at 0. Okay, so if you play this, this actually looks like the regular animations that we have, which is good. However, we did not just put modifiers just to do our regular animations. This is where we could head back to timing. By the way, you don't have to work in this order. You could also do timing first, but I just like to do my animation first before you doing timing. Now with timing, we could head to delay. We could go both the left side or the right side. Okay, so I'm going to go to the right side. Okay, so now if I play this now we have something like this. Okay, you could always adjust the speed. So this is even slower. So if you go the other way, it does the opposite. I guess you gotta go even slower. Well, if you want to do it that way, you might want to leave a little space from the beginning. Okay, let me just show it right now. So we could go to keyframes, and let's go to text. Let's do full. So if I'm going to do that reverse way, it's best to leave space from the beginning, because now the timing is different. So now if I play it, okay, give more time, you get the gist. If you want to delay the other way, you have to give a little bit time from the beginning of your clip to the beginning of your animation so that the delay will actually work. Okay, so that's what's going on down there. But let's put it back to the beginning and put it back to the right side, since that's what I wanted to do from the get-go. All right, so let's put it back from the beginning. Okay, so that's how that works. If you want to do it from the left side, you have to give time before your animation so that the delay works. And if you want to do it from the right side, now you could do your animation first, then delay. Okay, so that's how that works. Okay, so we also have other options as well. So at the order, we have automatic. It's going to choose the best scenario for your animations. From this, it looks like it's the same as left to right, which makes more sense with this animation. But if you don't like this, you could just go from right to left, or you could do inside out. You literally have options. And you can also have delay type. Let's head back to left and right. We also have delay type, which is between first and the last one. This actually looks good and smooth. All right. You have a lot of options to tweak your modifiers so you could get your desired look. Again, no expressions required. So now we are going to head to our last example, which is built-in smart control. Sometimes the smartest solution is already there. Okay, so what do I mean by this? So I'm going to bring down another rectangular node and an eclipse node. And I'm going to bring down a background. So let's put this background here. Let's give it some kind of color. Let's give it something like this. Okay. So I'm going to put a rectangle. If you watch one of my first expressions, you'll see where I use expression with the width, and I connected it to the height. So that way you could get a perfect square every time. All right. But That's a built-in smart control for that. Instead of doing all of that, we could simply head to the corners and drag this evenly. If you drag this diagonally, you get this evenly. It might not be evenly because this is a rectangle, so you could make it a rectangle or you could make it a square. So if you drag it out perfectly you get a square. But you could also drag it to make it a rectangle. Okay. So depending on how you drag it, you could drag it to be the perfect square or some type of triangle, but you are controlling both the width and the height at the same time. So this one is cool and very, very effective. You don't have to do no math. You have to use your eyesight to control whatever you want to just by heading to the corners. Let's head to the eclipse. Is the one that actually makes it look perfect. All right, if you go to the center now and increase this, we're increasing the width. Okay, if we're increasing it over here, we're increasing the height. But if we go to the corners, just like we did with a square, now we are increasing both the width and the height. You can look at the width here and the height, and you can see that they are both same value. This is a built-in smart control. No expressions required. Before trying to force logic, always check if Resolve already solved it for you. Why this is better than expressions? Expressions are powerful, but they're also fragile if the UI doesn't fully support them. Modifiers and followers are fully supported. Our visuals are easier to debug and work the same across versions. That makes them better for real-world projects. When you actually need expressions, that's usually advanced template building, complex math relationship, or Fusion standalone workflows. If you've been stuck looking for expression box that doesn't exist in your UI, hopefully this clears things up. Work with the tools DaVinci gives you and not against them. If this helps, drop a like, subscribe, and let me know what workflow you want to simplify next. Let's get back to editing.